while failing vulnerable people.
With the leave of the House, Bob Blackman.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. With the leave of the House, I'd like to respond to the debate that we've had and also draw attention to my entry in the Members' Register of Interests. At the outset, the aim of this bill is to ensure that the vulnerable residents in supported housing are provided with proper support and care where they need it, and to drive out the bad providers. And as such, we've had to strike a balance in presenting this bill. And the balance here is we don't want to burden the good providers with excessive regulation at a time when they're struggling to make ends meet. And so we have had to strike a particular balance in the provisions that we've presented today. One of the gaps, as has been emphasised by several honourable colleagues, is the lack of data that there is right now in about the number of supported housing units and where they extend to. So one of the reasons why many of the provisions in here are may provisions, i.e. enabling the Secretary of State to introduce regulation, is precisely so we can get the data and make the necessary actions so that we don't drive the good providers out of the market completely. But we do drive the poor providers who are exploiting vulnerable people away from the market. There are two levels of regulation within this. There are the regulation of providers that are going to take place, and one of the issues that we discovered from our visit to Birmingham was, of course, a voluntary scheme has been introduced, but of course the good providers register for the voluntary scheme and the bad providers don't. Hence why we need to make the licensing agreements and arrangements appropriate and mandatory. And I think that's one of the key issues that has got to be looked at as we're taking this forward in regulation. Then, and we should be very clear on this is a start. This bill is a start and will require a huge amount of regulation to be introduced on the back of it. And as my honourable friend the Minister has described, there's going to be a great deal of consultation with the sector to make sure we get this right. The benefit of that, of course, is that it enables the government to be more nimble if these bad providers try some other tricks. Therefore, we can change the regulations accordingly. Now, I'd also like to thank the 13 honourable members who spoke in the debate. Of course, at some stages, they were competing with their fulsome praise for me. And just to update the House, I've now entered my 37th year, successive year, of directly elected representation. And one of the benefits of doing that as a councillor and as an MP is that you can specialise in particular areas and bring expertise where possibly ministers keep changing. So I do indeed use that, and I thank all the honourable members for their contributions on a sincere basis. Many points were raised during the debate, and I will be looking at those subsequently. So as we take this bill through committee stage, we can look at whether there is a need for any changes within the legislation, and equally whether that strikes the right balance or not. I'd like to thank the honourable member from Greenwich and Woolwich, the opposition spokesman, for his support and the opposition parties for their support for this bill. We need to take this forward on a cross-party basis, because that will enable us to demonstrate to these rogue landlords that really and truly your time is up. Get out of the market now and let us make sure that the innocent people who just need our help and assistance are given what they need, which is the ability to rebuild their lives in a safe and secure environment. And so I therefore hope, Madam Deputy Speaker, that the House will indeed pass this bill and we can then get on to the committee stage to look at it in much more detail.
The question is that the bill be now read a second time. As many as that opinion say aye. Aye. Of the contrary, no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it.